No, we wasn't. Oh, okay.
Second sticks.
Boop, boop.
Okay, so we're gonna start very easy. Tell me your name and your job title and what company you work for.
My name is JuanAljure. I am a cost engineer at Pratt & Whitney.
So Juan, what country do you most likely identify with?
That's a tough question. Yo soy colombiano. I was born in Cali, Colombia, but I was raised in Miami. So I definitely can identify a lot with the Cuban population. I miss a lot, my Cuban family. I miss them. I don't see them up here. So I was born in Cali, Colombia, and I was raised in Miami. And I have been very, very influenced by the Cuban culture. I don't know how can we say that?
You said it perfectly. We'll talk about a little bit more about that. So let's go to Colombia. What do you love most about being Colombian?
Well, I have to say I love.
Start out with I'm sorry. He was
That's okay.
Go ahead.
What I love most about being Colombian, I would have to say, is our reputation for our Spanish. Everybody loves the way that we speak Spanish, and I love practicing with people, and seeing the way that their faces light up and say, "Oh, you're Colombian," or "You're from Cali." Amongst Colombians, we can pick out where we're from based on our dialect and our accent. And of course, we have a very vibrant culture. Colombia was a gateway to South America during the times of the indigenous people before the Spaniards got there. So a lot of people moved through there. A lot of cultural practices, have evolved in that area. It's a big melting pot, just like Miami was. So music, arts, metalworking, a lot of gold sculptures can be found in museums in Colombia. Emeralds. Colombia is an emerald capital of the world. And of course, coffee. I can't not say coffee. So those are just a couple of things that I love about being Colombian.
So what are some of the things that make you, you?
I think some of the things that make me are, definitely my perspectives, my experiences that I've had here. Being an immigrant, I came to the United States when I was 5 years old, and I came as an undocumented immigrant, which I didn't really understand until I was about 16 years old when it came time to start driving. Unfortunately, that wasn't something that I had a privilege to do, but I made good use of public transportation in Miami. But I think really that experience has helped me to persevere in life, to set goals for myself and really reach for them and not let anything get in my way. And I think that's why I'm here today, and I think that's why I am who I am.
What are some of the family traditions that remind you that you have Hispanic heritage?
Yes. So when I call my grandmother, mi abuela, she's still learning English after 20 years of being here, and she can handle herself when she needs to, but when she's with us, she likes to speak in Spanish. So that's something that really has helped me maintain my ability to speak Spanish, and I think that's something that's so important that a lot of my peers in school growing up, they were from Hispanic heritage and they couldn't speak the language. So that's a very immediate tie that I have to my community, to my heritage. Food. My grandma taught me how to make the best empanadas in the world. One time in college, I emptied out a dorm of 800 students making empanadas because they were so fire that they had to call the firefighters. And I gave them some, and I didn't get in trouble, luckily. So besides the food, I think Hispanic culture, Colombian culture is very romantic. If you think in terms of well-known Colombians like Gabriel Garcia Marquez, a very famous writer, Cien Años de Soledad, Love in the Time of Cholera. Shakira, she's very famous entertainer. Sofia Vergara, another very famous actress. J Balvin, another famous entertainer. These people bring so much passion to their art because of the romantic nature of just being in such a beautiful land and having such a rich culture and history.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Tell me a little bit more about the foods. Like, what is, I'm Puerto Rican. If I go to Colombia, what am I asking for?
Yeah, if you go to Colombia and you're walking down the street, you need to eat chontaduro, which is like a palm tree fruit. You eat it with salt and honey. Mangoviche, which is green mango. It's ripe. You eat it with lime and salt. Cholados, which they're like snow cones kind of with fruit, condensed milk, and I've had many cholados in Miami, and my family all says these are nothing like the ones in Cali, the real cholados. And in fact, I was reading some information online, and there's a park where vendors come from all around the outskirts to sell just cholados. So that's something you definitely got to try there. Bandeja paisa, that's a classic staple. It has rice, beans, chorizo, carne asada, steak. It has avocado, rice. It's a very good sampler type of dish. Sancocho, which is stew. It's made with chicken, hen. Those are probably my favorites.
So what makes up your authentic self? El auténtico, what is it?
Sí, lo auténtico. That's interesting. I think that for me, authenticity, it's a mixture of both my Hispanic heritage and my upbringing in Miami, living in, the 21st century, being a millennial, growing up with the internet. For me, a big part of my identity a big part of my identity has to do with the music that I enjoy listening to. Hip hop, rap, reggaeton. I love all sorts of music, but those really have my heart, and I think it really captures where I come from and my people.
One of the things we were talking about, what makes up you, is your long struggle to gain a certain education.
Yes.
So, that if you start out, what makes you who you are is the experience you've had. So maybe you could start out by that and tell us about it.
Part of what makes me who I am today is the experience that I've had in fighting for my education, fighting for the right to be here working at Pratt & Whitney. I have my class ring here with me today that I brought as a token of that struggle. And my education is something that can never be taken away from me. My family always pushed me as hard as they could, even though I may not have enjoyed it at that time. But now I can look back and say I'm so privileged to have had such a supportive family and to be able to be where I am today, to have the opportunities that I have today, and to be able to give my children the opportunities that I didn't have, just like my mother and my grandmother gave to me.
So talking about that support, okay, what is the most important thing you give each other? Again, the Hispanic culture, what's the most important thing you give each other and then you get from each other?
I think the most important thing that we give and get is love. To be honest, love drives a lot of what I see as part of the Hispanic experience. A big part of that is sharing. That's something that I was always taught to do as a young child. Share whatever you have. It doesn't matter if it's a lot or a little. You share with others, and others will share with you. And I think that really does come from a place of love, from a place of wanting to help each other, wanting to make the world a better place.
That was great.
Okay.
That was absolutely great. So, we're not all one nationality. We don't come from one country. Colombian, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Peruvian, Mexican. So we're not a singular community. However, we we do want to know what it means to be Hispanic. So what commonalities does the Hispanic community have?
So I think some of the commonalities that the Hispanic community has are rhythm, a love of music, dancing, food, partying, socializing, sharing time with each other, spending time with each other, sharing those memorable experiences. As a kid, I used to be taken on, visitas. We're going to go visit a family friend from, that my family used to know in Colombia, typically my abuela. And it's those things, quality time and speaking to each other in a meaningful way, listening to each other, and just showing compassion.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what do you love most about being Hispanic?
What I love most about being Hispanic is being different. I have something within me that other people don't, even other Hispanic people. My experience has shaped my own perspective, and I really think that changes the way that I see the world. It changes the questions that I ask of those around me. I try to encourage others and push them just like I've been pushed. I think those are my favorite parts of being Hispanic.
Awesome, awesome. And that's all great stuff, which, by the way, guess we bring it to UTC, right?
Absolutely.
So describe for me, and you can, use examples, or don't be afraid to repeat things. You want to drive on all these great qualities. So how does your upbringing and culture, okay, how does it influence how you show up to work every day?
I think my upbringing and culture have a very big influence on how I show up to work every day, partly because of how hard I've had to fight to get to where I am today. So with that, I see my current situation, I evaluate it, and I think, how can I make it better? Because I'm never going to stop fighting. I always want to improve myself, to improve others around me, to improve our organization, to improve our company and our country. So I think that helps me, that drives me to ask difficult questions that even make me shiver when I ask them, because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, am I going to get in trouble for this? What's my boss going to say? He's going to think that I'm insubordinate, or my peers, they're going to look at me differently. But, somebody has to do that if we really want to drive change. Thank you.
You're killing it. It's beautiful. You're doing great. So, okay, so that's the company and everything. Now one-on-one. We're working together, or you're working with someone, by the way, it's not Hispanic. How does, again, your upbringing, your culture influence how you interact with those around you?
My upbringing and my culture influence the way that I interact with somebody on a one-on-one basis, in the sense that I really take the time to listen to somebody. I take an interest in who they are outside of work. I've had to internalize who I am outside of work, because as much as I value where I am now, that's not all of who I am. So I try to give the same respect to the people that I work with and see who they are, and see how that influences their perspective, and understand why they see things differently than I do, and how we can use that to make better decisions, to really make the way that they see things is different than the way I see things, and by putting our heads together, we can be greater together.
Beautiful. Good. So, take it up a notch on business-wise. So how does the Hispanic experience, the Hispanic perspective, empower UTC's success in future?
I think the Hispanic perspective empowers UTC's success in the future, because the struggle is not unique to me. I think that Hispanics are fighters. We're also lovers, but we're definitely fighters. So we know what it takes. We're not afraid to get our hands dirty. We're willing to, work with others to do what it takes, whatever it takes, to meet our goals, meet our objectives, and do a great job. We always want to excel. We're not satisfied with being just okay, or with being mediocre, or with being average. We want to go above and beyond. Especially if we have a personal connection with you, then it's more meaningful, right? It's personal at that point.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, that was really great. So this video also is going to be used for recruiting. Okay, so they're going to dual purpose it. So we want to know, why should people come to UTC? Why is it great to work here? So essentially, what do you think is the best reason for professionals to come to UTC?
I think the best reason for professionals to come to UTC is the fact that things are changing, and we can have an influence on how things change. As a millennial, I was always told growing up, you're going to change the world. You have to go out there and change the world, make a difference. And at UTC, there are many ways that we can do that. Two of the most important ways, I think, are through technology. The technological advances that we are enabling, not just in our economy, but in the global economy, are changing the way that we do business. They're changing the way that we move people. They're changing relationships that people can build by being able to be closer to one another. The second way is the cultural change. I think UTC really gets what we need in terms of diversity of thought, diversity of experience. It's not just about what your skin color is or where you come from, what country you were born in. It's how do you see things in a way that we don't. And by bringing that with you to UTC, you can directly influence the way that the culture is changing. And we may not be perfect, but if you come here to UTC, you will have a hand in making it better.
Wow, if recruiting doesn't like that, I mean, he's going to get like 300 people applying overnight. So, no, that's great. That's great. So, let's talk about this summit, right? So, I personally am just thrilled that, UTC and Greg Hayes are really saying, look, we got a Hispanic community here, and we need to make it better, grow it, whatever the right answer is. But let's just talk about the conference theme, Ignite el Futuro. So what does it mean to you?
So Ignite el Futuro really resonates with me because at Virginia Tech, our motto is invent the future. I think that it's great to look forward and to think about how we can improve upon the status quo. I think that Ignite el Futuro is very poignant because by using the word ignite, we realize that it's not just up to us. It's up to those that come after us and up to the future generations to really make sure that the change is put into place and stays there, continues improving. We are leading the way, but we're not going to be able to do it all by ourselves. We're not going to be able to fully do it in our lifetime. We need to reach across generations. We need to extend our hand and ignite that spark that is going to cause a chain reaction and really shape the future, el futuro, that we want to see.
I'm guessing you like it, but how does it strike you, the words Ignite el Futuro? How did it strike you?
Like a match. Ignite el futuro strikes me like a match. The words Ignite el Futuro really, I think that the words Ignite el Futuro strike me. Okay.
This is what's perfect about this. You could redo everything you
Yes.
want here.
So the
If
words.
you can't think of anything, that's okay too, but, when you first started Ignite el Futuro.
Yeah, I think the words Ignite el Futuro really strike me as visionary in the sense that you need to know where you're going, you need to know where you've been, and you need to know where you are. And by focusing on today, we're not going to be able to see what's going to happen tomorrow. We're not going to be able to see how our actions will impact our children, our grandchildren, and those to come. So I think igniting el futuro really drives home the point that it's not about us. It's about the future. It's about el futuro.
Well, that's a really interesting one. That was good. Okay. So, ignite el futuro. I'm going to keep with this one. Okay. Imagine the future. What is it? So you're igniting the futuro. Now imagine the future. What is it?
When I ignite el futuro and picture what it looks like, I think I'm a bit fortunate because I have a chance to participate in the discussion surrounding diversity today. I think in el futuro, that's not going to be the case. We're not going to be focused on that because it's going to be normal. We're going to understand the value that diversity brings, and we're going to be focused on other things. We're going to be focused on privacy and data rights, right? How are big tech companies using our data to influence the way that we think as a society? I think we're going to be focusing on how we can close the wealth gap. I think we're going to be focusing on living our life and not getting caught up in the day-to-day drama of politics, whether that's local or global. We're going to be able to really appreciate ourselves, our families, our efforts, those of our ancestors, and really be able to spend quality time with our family. I think that's what the goal ultimately is to be able to live a better life.
Nice. You got a lot of good ideas. So, how do we begin? How do we begin to ignite el futuro?
I think the way that we begin to ignite el futuro is by standing up and raising our hand or taking a knee, by going against the grain, by seeing what injustices are out there and pointing them out, and knowing that you may be putting a target on your back, but if you don't do that, things are not going to change, right? We have to do the dirty work up front so that it's easier for those that are coming after us.
Let me pick at you on this one. At UTC, how do we begin to ignite el futuro? I mean, we know where the summit's being held, right?
Farmington, HQ.
Well, we know why too, right? Because we want to focus more on the Hispanics. They are important. So,
Yes.
how do we begin?
I think that
Igniting futuro. How do we begin?
I think that we begin igniting el futuro by asking tough questions of our leadership, by asking tough questions of ourselves, by promoting Hispanic talent, by diversifying our technical fellows, by diversifying our executive band, by diversifying our executive leadership, by diversifying our senior leadership, and really bringing in these valuable Hispanic perspectives and experiences into the highest ranks of the company and all across the board, up and down.
Okay. So you've been here 3 years. You have power at UTC somewhat. How do you see yourself contributing to this, to igniting el futuro? How do you see yourself contributing?
I believe I see myself contributing to igniting el futuro by mentoring I see myself igniting el futuro at UTC by mentoring younger employees, by mentoring more experienced employees, by really being comfortable with being myself, getting involved outside of my immediate organization, being involved with the Hispanic Leadership Forum and all of the 8 other ERGs, by participating in activities like the Leadership Summit, by going to diversity conferences and looking for helping to find the right quality and caliber of talent that we want at UTC, and by being an example, by leading from within, by leading from the ranks, and really showing other people that they have a voice too, and they can speak up, and they won't be retaliated against. There won't be any repercussions for them speaking up and giving their opinion.
That was brilliant. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Thank you.
Really, really brilliant. So again, okay, now we're going to the summit, right? What do you want to see happen at this event?
So I would love to So during the summit, I would love to see real engagement of Hispanic talent. I would love to see mentorship and sponsorship of the younger generation of talent, development of their professional skills. I would love to see relationships be fostered that will enable the new talent to really grow into the leaders of tomorrow.
Beautiful again. You might be all over this video. Okay, so now about you. Okay, what do you want to do at this event?
So at the Hispanic Leadership Summit, I would like to. What do I want to do?
Take your time. Like I said, they're going to erase this piece and use the real one.
At the Hispanic Leadership Summit, I would love to engage in meaningful conversations with my Hispanic peers and really try to think about the ways that we can enable this positive change and think about actionable items or think about actionable things that we can do to really start igniting el futuro.
And at this event, what is the change? What define change? What do you really